let's talk about the two new video features on the iPhones this year. We saw the numbers, bigger sensors, all that's great. Even thicker camera bumps. They're thicker this year.
It feels like when it did that side profile, it's like it has 3 separate bumps. The bump to get to the bump for the outside of the lens, and then the bump for like the glass or something on it.
It's a triple mesa. It's a whole thing. But the features we got were ProRes and cinematic mode. Yeah. Which should we do first?
Cinematic mode's more fun.
Okay. So cinematic mode, I've thought a lot about cinematic mode since it came out, and I'm very curious about how this will land with regular people. It's in all of the phones, not just the Pros, and it's a new mode that will let you have a little bit more fine control over shooting video and specifically with focusing.
Yeah.
So I think Apple took a couple looks at, okay, we've got bigger sensors, there's going to be more natural blur, and we're going to have a lot of people shooting video with the iPhone as they usually do. Let's build into the stock camera app a little bit of a more prosumer, I'm doing air quotes for audio listeners, a prosumer way of shooting video, specifically with like some focus racking and some AI intelligent focus racking and some fake blur. We added some adjustable blur. So it's literally like portrait mode for video, which is adjustable in post that you can switch between subjects while you're shooting.
Yeah, since you said you've thought about this a lot, can I give you my initial impression on it, and then you can tell me what you think later? So when we first saw this, my very first thought was like, every time Apple does camera samples, they're like the most beautiful pictures and videos ever because they have like really intense rigging and they're in these like studio situations, and like they're basically showing you examples that you will never, ever, ever as a consumer hit.
Apex, yeah.
So when they showed this, I was like, oh, focus racking. This is really cool. We're all kind of video nerds here, so we think that's really sweet. I don't think the video, the way it showed it off in the examples was great. Felt very jumpy. Sometimes it looked like it was hunting, which is weird because it's not actually like racking a focus like normal. And just for some reason, it like just felt off from like, we do focus racks all the time. It just didn't quite feel like it. Obviously, it's much different. This is on a phone. We're using cameras with expensive lenses.
I thought the same thing.
So, and then I thought, that's kind of what I thought, or I was just like, if Apple's not nailing this in their product demos, like I think this is going to be worse. There's also a lot of haloing, which is something that their portrait mode doesn't do quite as bad anymore. But in video, obviously portrait mode video is new. So, maybe I'm being too picky. This is for that kind of the average person. They'll probably think it's really fun. But then I immediately thought, I can't think of the average person that's going to be like super pumped about this. And now I'm back to like, I don't really get it.
Okay, so the one thing that I thought a lot of the same stuff when I watched it. I was like, this is going to be the greatest demo of all time. And then the first thing they showed, I was like, did that just hunt? Yeah. It was weird. But the one thing that I watched back and thought more regular people are going to care about this than I think we think is this is right next to all the other modes in the camera.
Oh, like when you scroll through that?
When you swipe through.
Okay, like so
there's photo mode, there's portrait mode, there's video mode, and there's cinematic mode. And cinematic mode right next to video is like the portrait mode for video. And I think a lot of people are just going to flip it over to this like almost by default anyway, just to like, oh, this is the better video. Like obviously portrait mode looks better than a lot of photos. Let's just turn on cinematic mode and we're taking some videos of our friends. And I think they're going to see a lot of that like shallow depth of field, and they're going to crank up the bokeh all the way, and it's going to be this big fake blurry background. And they're going to go, oh wow, the iPhone video looks crazy good with this cinematic mode. I guarantee we see at least one random viral video of like fake blur from an iPhone, people going, look how much better the iPhone video is than everyone else, even though you've been able to do this on other phones for a while. Yeah. So that's one thing I saw.
Wait, can I just interject right there? Is like, you just made me think of another issue this could be doing to somebody is, if you think people are going to go to cinematic as default, how many random videos are people going to have where it's like, they're taking a video of their friend and someone walks by in the background and it hunts to focus that. And now their video they have is out of focus on the subject because they don't know how to use it correctly. Yeah. We'll have to see how it works, but I can see that happening now.
I just think this is going to be more geared toward the average person. And I think people who want to shoot, like creators like us, if I was to shoot a video on the iPhone, I'm either going full auto or I'm using a third-party app to get way more manual control.
Yeah.
and there's kind of no in between. Like you can exposure lock, and I think can you focus lock with the current iPhone video app? I don't even think you can do that.
Not totally sure.
So that's one of those things, like when you look at people who shoot full-on videos on their iPhones that they've been waiting for, this cinematic mode is still trying to use AI and like auto switch for you and add fake blur. And this isn't really something that those creators are going to want to switch to. They're still going to keep using the dozens of really good like third-party camera apps we've already seen for the iPhone, especially for video. So that's why I think this is a normie app.
I agree. And those same people who are putting that much effort into it are probably going to see that focus, like the way it does it, the rack focus, and probably be like, I don't like that. They're going to be someone who's picky enough where they wouldn't enjoy that. Whereas, normal person.
There's phones out there with manual focus sliders.
Yeah.
Where you can do manual focus in.
I think LG brought that up. Like
LG's done it. Sony's done it. I think a Motorola phone's already done it. And I literally, you'll be able to like slide to manual focus with focus peaking in the stock camera app in like the pro mode, which is nuts. So that's not what Apple's doing yet. But I do see this like people swiping and going, what is portrait mode? It's a blur.
I totally agree.
This is the video portrait mode. So that's fine. I think we'll see a lot of people trying that. Hey, thanks for watching this clip, and be sure to stay tuned for more. Also, you should definitely subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff coming up, because there's a lot more. It's Techtember. That's how it is. You've brought the embargo box?
Yeah, it's getting pretty full.
Does everything fit in the embargo? Oh, barely fits in the. You don't want to give it away though.
What if
can't show
you have to
stuff
subscribe
in there
if you want to know what's in here.
Yeah, that's the point. I'm glad you brought it though. Now people know.